Okay, hey, here we are. Another one. This is round 8. YouTube, say hi to Twitch. Twitch, say hi to YouTube. Y'all know what it is. You're on YouTube right now if you're watching from Twitch, because we are recording this and we're going to put this boy on YouTube for everybody to watch. So round 8, we're here. Here we go. This is round 8. Thanks for the follow there. YouTube says Tommy. So round 8. This was round 8 of the candidates. Actually, I was doing commentary today on Hikaru's channel. I saw every bit of the action. I will be there in the morning as well with Big Bach from the block. Shout out to Big Bach. Yes, sir, Grandmaster Benjamin Bach. So we're going to start with this first game here, which was AGRRESSIVE versus Timur Rajabov. I'm going to be honest with you. This one right here, this is going to put you to sleep. Bruh. Except the last few minutes of it because they got low on time. But man, bro, this game was literally like nothing. So, okay, let's see. E45, knight f3, knight c6, right? We got an Italian game. I mean, and an Italian game, the quiet game, is another reason, or the Gioco Piano they call it, quiet game. But this stuff was very quiet. I mean, watch how this works, right? So d6, knight d2, this is all theory. That's why we're going to blow through this. Blow through it. All theory. Big dog, what's good? Coach Angel in the building. We're doing a recap right now for the two, bro, for YouTube. Round 8. Shout out to Coach Angel. Bishop e6, takes, and castles. And remember, we were talking with Bach here. I was actually favoring black because of the idea of knight h5, knight f4. You also have knight h5, knight g3. I mean, you could double the rooks at some point, queen e7, right? And then you could also put the rook here. I mean, I just like black's prospects. But rook e1, knight f1, very crucial move with the ideas of bishop e3, also rook a2. You see a lot, right? Which after knight h5, rook a2 played. Defending f2, no pressure there, no knight g3. But he does go knight f4. I was liking black's chances. After king h8, or king h2, queen f7. I'm not gonna lie, guys, we're gonna fly through this game because this one was a long game, and this one was so long and so boring. Mike, I mean, bro, it was a very boring game. I'm not gonna lie. Takes, and then you have this type of position where you can play this into oblivion, which they did. They played this boy into oblivion. Bruh. A long time. So knight g4, knight e7. I mean, it was just maneuver. Like I'm just gonna fly through moves, bro, because I really want to get to the exciting games today. Which was Hikaru's game and Richard Rapport's game. So those were very exciting games. This one, not exciting at all. Not exciting at all. I will recommend you look at this in your own time as well if you want to actually just kind of see how the moves were played and etc. But this is a very, very slow game. I mean, lots of maneuvering. I mean, oh my goodness, right? Like, look at this. I'm just flying through moves like this, and then look at this little shuffle, shake and bake, little shuffle, right? Like nothing happened. They traded some pieces. It was zero. Like this, one of the very few games you see that zeros the whole game. Everything from beginning to end zeros. Knight f1, queen f6. There was never a chance, I think, for anyone. I think there was a slight chance of like half a point. This was like interesting. Yeah, thank you, Yakta. Yep. I mean, I'm getting tired like clicking the buttons here. You know what I mean? Like this was oh man, this was, and then here, this was sort of like an inaccuracy, but like, you're like, look at this. They didn't do anything. Bro, this game was so like, what is this? Like, I'm not learning anything. The only thing you can learn really is like push on, play, and you can play games like this where you just do nothing but back and forth moving and trying to improve your position. GMs do a lot of back and forth particularly, exactly. Right? I mean, look at this, guys. Like, nothing happened. I mean, did you see the little box he played? Like, let's just move the king if he was on. Like, nothing happened. Then he did the little Nigel Short. Like, let me get some Nigel Short action here. And he does. And he says, checky poo, what to do? I'm going to go back. Then he goes again. Checky poo, what to do? I'm going to go back. Then he goes again. And then this was a draw. He claimed the draw right here. I mean, this was it. Bruh. Bro, I mean, wow. I can lose energy thinking about this game. So I'm going to get off of this game before I actually fall asleep talking about it. So this was Jan and Dean Loren. This one was, I call this one like, you want to go get lunch game? Like, that's exactly what this reminds me of. Is like, Jan's like, yo, you trying to go get lunch, bro? Like, let's, you know, like, that's exactly how this game was. Because this was a quicker draw. This ended like 4 or 5 hours before every other game. So, like, this game was very quick. E45, knight f3, knight c6. Knight c3, knight f6. We have a 4 knights. D4, takes, all theory. Takes, theory. Castles. Theory. Queen f3. Bishop g5, hitting f6, still theory. Bishop d6 with h2 intention, stuff like that. Excuse me. Rook a e1, you want to put the knight around e2 a lot of times. He went knight d1, which I like. A little different. H6 takes, and then we get this position. He says, cool, look, I got the 2 bishops. Yeah, I got the double pawns, but whatever. And I remember we and Bach was talking about this. And in this position, I did favor white. Reason being is because of the pawn structure. The only difference that I would say is really the pawn structure. Yes, you have 2 bishops, but okay, I got bishop knight. And if we can trade one of the bishops, I'm actually really going to take white because you have a damaged structure. I do see some, and I mentioned this in commentary earlier. There's a Joe Bava line in the C5 lines, 3, C5, move 3, C5 by black. There's a line that reaches a very similar structure where the pawn is usually on A6. Pawns are like this. This pawn's usually on G7. And this pawn is on H7. Which the same, these three are like, you know, these pawns give white a slight advantage because of the weakness. But this is not a Jobaba, but I do remember the pawn structure-wise is very similar to that. So white having, you know, some targets, I would definitely take white, but objectively with best play, it should be a draw. 93, F4 attacks the knight. It goes knight F5, they take those. Now we got the double ops or the opposite color bishops here. But I do still like white for a slight edge due to, again, the said weaknesses. And white doesn't have any weaknesses. All this is strong stuff. Now, of course, these pawns could be weaker, but overall, we don't have any damage structured pawns at all. In fact, if you count pawn islands, this is 1 pawn island, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawn islands, and I only have 2. I mean, think about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawn islands versus this is all 1, 1, and 2. So, I mean, but of course, it's just not enough. You need more pieces, and not just pawn islands. So, king g7, g3, king f6, bishop d3, backs up, h5. Love this move. The idea is get rid of both of the garbage pawns I have. So, both of these, right now, we're only going to be left with 3 pawn islands as opposed to having 5, right? Stuff like that. So, okay, king g2, rook h8. I'm about to play h4 after trading. King f3, trade first, take back h4. Get rid of the weakness. Now we have a game where like, okay, whatever, but like, how are you gonna get these? So this is actually a draw for real. A4 played, bishop b4, rook f1. They traded them boys, got them off the board. I mean, even Jan was like, all right, bro, you know what, bro? I'm hungry. What time is it? Like, let me go get some lunch. Like, let's just go get some lunch, bro. Rook takes f6, king f5, and then like, yo, let's just go get some lunch, bro. And then they got up out of there. That's it. Jan's still in first place. Got the quick draw. I mean, my man's got a nap. I mean, he went to the gym. Like, he did everything. Like, he had a full day because this game was very quick compared to the other ones today. That man had a full day to do whatever. So now let's look at the next game, which is Rapport versus Duda. I call this one like, bro, what are you doing? That's what I found. I mean, the theme of this one is like, bro, what are you doing? And I talk about that to Duda because he had it. I mean, he had a draw, I think, or a better position. But let's just see what happened. E4, E5, right? Knight f3, knight f6. So a lot of Petrovs here we've seen. And he played knight c3. He didn't want to go down the mainline stuff, right? And then we have another 4 knights. And then g3. You know Rapport going to give you some crazy stuff, right? So he plays g3, bishop g2. I ain't never seen this in my life. I'm like, what the heck is this, bro? What is this, my guy? Got to hit him with that bruh after b4. Exactly. Bruh. Like, what is this, though? Castles, h6. He plays b3 first off. Which I was like, man, this is crazy. And what's funny is this was move number 1 at one point. This was move number 1 on the engine. I'm like, B3, bro, what? But maybe bishop B2 stuff, also stopping at A4 myself. Castles, H3, stopping bishop G4, knight D4, and bishop E3. Simple development. Every game is the same in them situations. You got to develop your pieces, right? So bishop E3, C6 happens. And then king H2, following a Vienna for the Vienna players out there. Sometimes you see the bishop on G2, you move the knight, you play F4, you play G4. This knight swings around the G3. But this is not a Vienna. Rook to E8, and then A3, which is a not strange, but more of a waiting move. You have so many moves you can play. A3 is maybe to even play B4 at some point, but A3 is on the board. Knight takes F3, queen takes, bishop takes. Box said take with the queen. I was automatically taking with the pawn because I want to open the file. I want to play G4. I want to put this bishop on H1. I was talking about this idea with Bach. After F takes, my idea here is play G4, bishop H1. Why? Because I want the queen on G2 and not G3 like it was in the game because of what we're going to see. But what I want is bishop H2, knight E2, G4, queen G2, knight G3, rook F2, rook F1, and then playing rook takes F6. And after the knight hits G3, you go knight H5. You see this a lot in the knight ors and etc. I also have H4 and G5. Right? I remember thinking this plan, and I've done this plan before. That's how I know. Right? Is having this type of plan in place. But Richard Rapport went for something different. Of course, this is a strange plan, and it takes a while, but it does actually work if you can get it going. B5 from Duda, and then we see G4, which I'm like, okay, cool, G4, whatever. Rook A7, and then it goes Queen G3.
Bruh.
I was not a fan. The reason why I was not a fan is because of his next move. H5 was brilliant from my man's Duda. And I was like, dang, Duda about to swing this boy right back around. Okay, Hikaru. Yeah, I did go to the school of Hikaru. I draw the arrows. I look up when I'm calculating. I also I look up when I'm answering questions from my sons or anyone. I literally will look up and like, wow, I learned that from the school of Hikaru. Absolutely, right. Graduated with honors. I didn't understand any of that. That's okay. Not swindle. It will be on YouTube. Make sure you watch this video like 17 times. So after H5, right, this is very, very interesting, I would say. Very interesting. So after this H5 move, I was like, dang. And I was like, okay, G5. Just play G5, which was played. But me and Bach looked at this, right? We could play H4 or Knight H7 first. It doesn't matter. H4 or Knight H7. And we looked at H4, which was played. Queen takes, Knight H7. Queen back, which was played. And we saw Queen takes G5, which is like, yo, you just take, right? And I mean, I honestly don't want to trade queens. I'm going to be honest with you. I really want to move my queen to like F2. Let me see. And that's terrible after Rook E6, apparently. So, like, you really want to move the queen. Like, I don't want to trade. Like, I really don't want to trade. But you kind of have to trade, and you go this route, and you're like, it's whatever. It just says A4, H4. Like, your advantage, you don't have any advantage. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have any. Like, it's not there anymore. So he didn't go for this, and it baffled me and Bach. After Knight takes G5, I'm like, bro, what is this? What is this? Like, I was literally thinking that to Duda, like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, so I'm like, you know what? Cool. Knight takes G5. It's not over. Even the engine still likes black. So we play H4. He goes back to Knight H7. Cool. Everything's smooth. Bishop H3. He takes. We go Rook G1. And we're supposed to play G6. After G6, me and Bach looked at Queen takes and King takes. If Queen takes, there's King G7 with the idea of actually Rook H8. And you got two pieces on the file with not a smile. Like, you're not smiling at this at all. This doesn't feel good. You don't want to be in this with the Queen and the King here. Especially after Rook H8 hits, Knight F6 is coming. Not a fun position. So you actually take with the King just to keep the pressure here and be able to play H5 myself. We saw this, but of course we still take black, especially after a King G7, Knight F6, Rook H8, slightly taking black as well. So we actually cover Ricardo game next, Ball Panther. So after Bishop takes H3, Rook G1, this man jumps off the deep end and play Knight G5. What are you doing? My guy. Hey yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? Knight G5 is ridiculous. I mean, and the reason why we say this is ridiculous is because what happens? He takes, which is logical. Then he plays Bishop C8, and at this point, bruh, I was like, yo, this ain't gonna be right. Like, there's too many inaccuracies. Bishop C8, why is this inaccurate? I think Bishop E6 was more accurate because you keep the bishop off the back rank. Why does that matter? And in a later line, you're going to see why this was wrong. The Bishop C8 is wrong. Bishop C8 is wrong because there was like a line that Mielbach looked at that after trading and the Queen F6 were able to double the rooks on the H file and hit the bishop that was on C8 after a rook lift, which was nuts. But all because the bishop was on C8 and not on E6. You undeveloped the piece. You would just put it on E6. It won't even be threatened by anything. Maybe he was scared of this. Like, maybe he was scared of this or something, but like, Bishop C8 was just, it didn't feel right. And even though Engine likes Bishop C8, you see this. Engine like Bishop C8. But a human, I mean, come on, bro. Bishop E6, right? Bishop E6. Maybe he wants to rook for E6, right? But Bishop C8 definitely was problematic after what happens here next. We knew the plan is very simple. You put the rooks on the file with a smile and you go for mate. I mean, that's it. Easy plan. Rook G2, rook here, Queen F3. Actually, the plan here was supposed to, you see how it goes up a lot? Engine wanted rook F1. Little shake and bake, like little weird maneuver, sick and move, like strange. But he did it kind of this way. Queen F3, G6, Rook H1, F5. He done jumped off the deep end. Bruh. If you got to play F5 like this, you know it's a problem, my guy. What we was looking at, though, was King. This is what I was talking about with the Bishop C8 line. I think it's here. King G7, King back. Oh, it's Queen F6 check. No, so maybe it was Rook E6 first. No, there's something with Queen F6 in here. King G1, King F8. Well, let's show this, though. After Rook E6, King G1, this is awesome, because after King G7, you have Rook H7. Takes, queen takes, and come on now. Get this man off the board. Hopefully you're doing your puzzle rush. Hopefully you're doing yours. So, you know, that would have been a nasty line to face. Very, very nasty line to face. So, but there was another line. Let's see, f5. How do we get that queen on f6? Maybe it's back here before rook e7. Maybe it's here. No, but then with the rook on e7, maybe it's g6. Interesting. Me and Bach looked at a similar line where the queen goes to f6. We trade, and there's a rook here, but I don't remember how we got there. But okay, so we'll continue though. After f5, you can opposite. You can chat. But he just played king g1 and get out the way. Have a nice day. Queen h3 intentions. b4, which was absolutely a blunder here. What he was supposed to play is rook f8, and he's kind of holding. b4 is more of like a I don't know what I'm doing anymore move. There, all the actions over here, all the action over here, everything is over here, and he plays b4. Is the finals tomorrow? No, it's not. It will be the 6th, 7th, or the 8th once we figure out that date. Well, everybody will know, and it drop everywhere. Eric did have Eric Rosen had COVID, so we wish him well, but he's feeling better, so we're trying to figure out the date now. Thanks for the follow, Domo Trop. Okay, so king to g1, b4, takes on f5, and says, I dare you to capture, right? But capturing runs into, I mean, you probably take, you can play f6, you could probably play this. Like, you could play anything. So, okay, after pawn takes, knight e4. And this man just resigned. Like, Duda just got out of there. Bro, I'm done. I'm out of here. Yo, like, he just got up out of there, bro, and resigned. 29 moves. This was probably the fastest game of the candidates so far. I wonder, wait, no. The game with Nepo and Firouzja was similar. I don't remember how many moves that was, but this was, I mean, it was a fast game. You didn't even make 30 moves, bro. You didn't even get to 30 moves. This was a crush, right? So 94, and it wasn't at first. He just blundered early on. Like, just played these weird moves that gave him a bad position. Knight e4 is beautiful. Of course, after pawn takes, let's see what happens, right? Of course, first off, knight f6 was a thing. After pawn takes, we have queen h5, which is threatening May threats, right? If rook g7, you have queen, it says g6, but interesting. I was going to check, but g6 is lights out. G6 is lights out. Wow, g6, what a move. King f8, queen check, okay, and rook g8, probably just rook f2, right? Check, and then king e7, or rook h7, queen h7, interesting. Queen h7, oh, because mate on f7, yeah, Bach pointed this out before too. f7 mate, nice. Beautiful, rook f2 coming, right? So, knight e4, and he resigned here, but there's nothing. Even rook g7, we have knight f6. They say best move is king g7, like moving the king to g7. And then the engine gives some crazy lines like, yeah, just take the pawn on b4. Bro, have you lost? What do you mean? What do you mean? Take the pawn on b4. Like, it's not even, you don't even consider that. Knight f6, though, definitely. Queen h5, maybe, right? Never am I thinking a takes b4. You have lost your absolute. But rook h2 definitely is a move as well. But at the end of the day, this game was over. 94 and Richard Rapport. I mean, he just was gifted an attack here. And 94 and Duda just resigns. I mean, nuts. Perfect. So those games are done, right? We've seen everything. Now here is the game of the day. Even dubbed game of the year in a way. So far, one of the games of the year. Because there's some other ones that are very, very high level. Can you cast a pawn if you don't take it before mate? No, you talking about the a3 pawn? We don't even care about that pawn. We're going for mate. That pawn don't matter at all. The pink suit threw him off. Was it pink or was it red or like, or what Jay-Z be saying? Bro, this mauve, bro. This mauve. This mauve, bro. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, bro, it's pink. Okay. All right. Hikaru versus Fabi. So here's the game. E4, E5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e5. We got a Roy Selman, exactly. A6, bishop a4. Computer says something else. Interesting. Report show up in the fanciest suits. That man fly, boy. That man drip too hard, bro. Bro, this game made me feel like Hikaru can give Magnus some comp. Well, I mean, he was not playing Magnus, but he was playing Fabi. At the same time, his game was fire, and Hikaru was definitely showing that he's ready. He's ready for real. So we got a Roy, right? This is all theory. I'm a fan of the D3 stuff. I'm anti-Berlin. Like, I'm not a fan of, like, letting him take. I remember playing this from the black side and how good positions were for black. But, of course, it's very playable, and he knows this stuff. So he plays D4, right, which is the more aggressive stuff, right? And then this is a common line. This is still theory. C3. You go bishop C. Oh, he went knight D2, and then bishop C2, right? And then he sacks. This is played. I was mentioning this earlier. Excuse me, in commentary with Bach. The knight F2 was played by Jordan Van Voorhees versus Eric Hansen this year. So one of the Meltwater things, but this was a very similar position, and Eric Hansen ended up losing. He had a better position, I think, with white. Eric Hansen played white. He did have a good position, but he ended up messing it up. And he also said as well, like, yo, I haven't seen this. I don't know the theory. And this is theory. Rook takes, bishop takes, king takes, f6, knight f1. Still theory. F takes, king g1. Here, I'm actually lost. After this, I don't remember any theory. I know bishop e3 is a move, but I don't remember any theory after king g1. I remember this as white, but now I'm out of theory. So queen to d6 played, and Hikaru played bishop e3 quite quickly. In fact, he was in prep for a long time. Bishop f5, bishop e3 played quickly. Rook a to d8, queen e1 played very quickly. Now the idea here, right, in this game, is this a real line? This is 100% a very real line. GMs play this line a lot. In fact, not a lot, but you'll see this at the high level stuff, right? Because what they're saying is, let's look at compensation. They're saying that first flip the board. What black just did is gave up 2 pieces for a rook and a pawn. So virtually they did get 6 for 6, right? We got a rook and a pawn. But usually in that situation, if you give up 2, a bishop and a knight, for a rook, you actually need to have a rook and 2 pawns. This is actually some real Jedi stuff I'm giving you right now. To get real compensation, you actually need a rook and 2 pawns. But a rook and 1 pawn is actually not enough compensation. So he has a rook and 1 pawn. But, of course, we do have an attack on the king. King looking crazy. This is why he goes king g1. And you have an attack, but you are down a piece. And you do not, if you don't do this right, you can and will lose the game in many cases. So after king to g1, queen to d6 with the idea of I need to use the pawns that I have. If I don't, then I just lose the game. So bishop e3, bishop f5 with a trade intention. Bishop b3 puts some pressure on the pawn. Rook a d8, logical move. Defends, gets a piece into the game, defends d5. Queen e1, I thought this was pretty good. Queen g3, queen h4, stuff like that. Even rook to d1, vacating the d1 square. Nice stuff. Knight a5. Queen f2 with bishop c5 ideas, right? And that's very nice. You could take on b3, but I still have bishop c5. I have the whole c5 square. So that's not something you want to do. So knight b7 says, I can't give you the c5 square, showing you how strong the square of c5 is. So he goes knight b7 with my own intention to play c5. Rook to e1. I'm curious, was rook d1 a move? It was, but it's move number 3 on the engine. So he went rook e1. c5 is played. Knight g3, make a better piece. Bishop d3 from Fabi. He thought a while here too. Yeah, he thought, as you see the time move from 154 to 131. He thought a while right here. Played bishop to d3. With the idea of playing e4, yeah, 4 pawns are scary. Absolutely. Think about the 4 pawns attack of the King's Indian. Scary. But the thing about the 4 pawns, think about this, right? This one, okay, this one's probably strong. This one, okay, this one's probably strong too. You can play c4, but I don't care about the b and a. I don't really care about the b. But the d pawn, you can't move that. And you need to be careful, right? So after queen d2 attacks the bishop, e4 was actually what me and Bach looked at the most. It makes the most sense. It's a tempo move, which attacks the knight. And then we looked at a line like knight to h4. Hikaru briefly mentioned, yeah, a knight's coming to f5. But interesting enough, he never mentioned g6. So in a post-game interview, when we asked Hikaru, he was like, yeah, knight could come to f5. But g6, though, he never mentioned this. And then we looked at a knight h1, which was played in the game. But knight h1 here was sort of something we wanted to play with the idea of actually playing g3, knight f2, and knight g2. Because this knight right here, if you go back, g6, what are you doing with this knight? What are you doing with this knight? It's on h4 and it can't move. You can't do anything with it. You don't have any squares and you're never going to get a square. Like, you're never going to get a square. So you actually need to do something about this knight. So knight h1 with the idea of g3, knight f2, and knight g2 and putting on f4 is a huge idea. Absolutely huge and brilliant in a way. But this did not happen. In fact, in the game, we were very, actually, in a way, baffled after c4. We was like, yo, c4, we know that ain't working. because we got bishop d1, and if you play e4, well, then you give up the dark squares. So e4 like had to be played here, so it wasn't like a slip from Fabi, to say the least. It's like an inaccuracy. Bishop d1, we chilling, and if you push, I play knight d4 at all cases. You can't play d4 and you can't play e4, and I got the bishop covering if you ever want to try to sack. Look, I'm good as white. Rook d7 with the idea of rook f7. Bishop f2, I thought this one was strange for us. We actually were like, oh, what's up with this bishop f4? Who am I following? I'm definitely following someone. A game just popped up. Okay, so bishop f2, right? Bishop f2, what do we like here? We were looking, I think, at knight h1 or something else. Lots of moves, though. Clean conversion, exactly. Thank you, Benny. Is there a reason why the bishop is staying on e3? Yeah, I mean, it is, but he backed it up. He backs it up here in this position. Play bishop f2 to attack e5. It makes total sense. You attack the pawn. I thought that was me starting the game on accident. No, that was
Another one.
Yeah. Poker, thanks for the 2 months. Appreciate you. Oh man, thanks for the follows. Follow train, smear the counter, and Sire. You can sub free with Twitch Prime. Shout out to y'all. And if you're new, hey, yo, hit the follow button. Let's get it. So rook d to f7, right? He's playing here. You can't move the knight. This is pretty obvious because rook takes f2. So, of course, what he does is play knight h1. And I remember we was talking about this. We was like, when you play a move like knight h1, I remember the first time I played knight h1 over the board, right?
Bruh.
I remember that I played knight h1 and I twisted it. I like twisted it clockwise and then hit the clock because I wanted this man to let him know. I won the game too. I wanted him to know that I played knight h1. It's actually in my perk playlist on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, go to check my playlist. You'll see it in the perk. I don't remember which one it is. It's the Chicago Open 2019, something like that. It might be in that one. 2020, either one, but there's I played knight h1 in a perk game with the white, ended up winning, and I had to reroute my knight to g5. That was the whole idea, and I ended up doing it, won the game. But knight h1, and I remember when Hikaru played knight h1, you can go check the clip. He played knight h1. He like kind of pushed it there, like extra oomph on the piece. He like put it there and was like hit the clock, right, and let people know like, yeah, knight h1, my guy, beautiful move, defending f2. Because if you don't play this, e4 is going to be played and the bishop hangs. That's the whole idea. This bishop needs to be defended. So if you go bishop f2 and he doubled the rooks, right? Always ask, what is my opponent doing? He's trying to play e4 and attack the bishop. So we move, knight h1, defend the bishop. Very easy, defend that boy. And then e4, and then we just jump out the way. Like, what are you doing? This is GG, right? It feels like that, obviously. We are still playing Fabiano. And I even mentioned this, like, Fabi will not go down. And at one point, I was like, bro, is this what it takes to beat Fabiano? This is ridiculous.
Another one.
It was really ridiculous. So, like, is this what it takes to beat Fabiano? Like, this man's not going down the rest of the year. Like, if that's what it takes to beat Fabiano, this is probably the only time he loses this entire year. Arts type Matt, thanks for the tier 1. Knight d4, queen g6, right? So after queen g6, yeah, you remember that? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how, I mean, look, it's hard to beat this man, Fabi. h4. So he plays h4 with the idea of h5. You also could play something like queen to g5 as well. So h4, okay, after h4, you see the knight to c5. Oh, we got fireworks popping. Shout out to y'all. Fireworks going out. Absolutely. Fireworks is, I wonder if anybody else popping fireworks around y'all city, wherever you are, especially USA, in the States with fireworks going out. True, I feel like Hikaru had beat him 5 different. He had to beat him like 5 times this game, right? That probably was a max person playing in the brick wall. Knight c5, okay. I always hear him randomly. Yeah. Shout out to the firework people out there. TXU, thanks for the follow. So h5 was played with the queen having to move. Then we played bishop to g4, which we absolutely knew this was coming. 4th of July coming, absolutely. My birthday on the 6th, chat. It's going to be nice. We're going to be lit. Bishop g4, and then h6. Of course, we have bishop e6 coming, but we can't do it, obviously, because of the knight. Queen to e3, brilliant move. Better placing of the queen. Bishop g3 is even better. Never have to worry about this stuff either. And I can always play king h2. Very nice. Okay, poker, let's get it. Queen f4 was there, and here is the move that the engine recommended, which was super fire, which is bishop f5. Boy, that's a move. Bishop f5 is sweet. It's an absolutely sweet move. After rook takes, now, of course, engine like equal now, but that's what they recommended. They're like, yo, it's equal. If you play the move I recommended, bro, what are you talking about? Like, engine be tripping. Rook takes f5, though, right? So rook takes f5, queen takes c, oh, you can take here first, and then rook and take this way, right? Yeah, bishop f5 is a wild move. That's a wild move. So Hikaru didn't play this. I'm sure he saw it, but he didn't play it. He takes, and he plays knight e6. He also had bishop e6 as well. But the idea here is if rook takes g4, we're going to take on f8, actually. Take the rook and then take on c5. When was the last time Fabi lost an OTB game before this? That's a great question. I wonder if anybody can pull that stat, but it's an excellent question. Rook takes, knight e6, takes check, and then we take the pawn. And now we got work to do. I mean, we up, but it's a grind. Rook 8 at f5. Engine said bishop a8. Bro, you have lost your mind. Nobody playing that. So bishop c6 though, right? Bishop c6, which is great. I was thinking this is the maneuver. Bishop e8 to g6. Very nice stuff. So he takes on h5 and says, dang, okay, we can't do none of that. Can't worry about none of that. And here, bishop d4 is definitely a move. What did bishop a8 do? Exactly, right? Save a lot. Exactly. So after rook to h5, bishop d4 is a move. But I mean, it's just such an easy move to make. Bishop e3. Very, very shocking, actually, in the way that Hikaru was not able to play bishop e3. Here, I think, and even Bach pointed out, like, yo, there's like rook traps everywhere. So bishop e8, bishop e3, engine gives. Best move, rook f8 or rook f6. But let's look at rook f8, just to try to stay out of all lines. But the problem is not this rook. It's this one. So knight to g3. Where do you even go, first off? Right, where do you even go? Rook e5, bishop d4. You're getting hit everywhere. I think this was probably practically an easier way to go. Easier than what was played in the game because of what happened. Bishop d4, rook f5, knight f2, which was played. Right, and then he plays b4. I thought this was brilliant. And then here, and even here, Bach pointed out a great point, which of course you can learn this in your own games as well. 2 versus 1, it's probably best to get rid of this one so you never have to worry about anything weird coming down here. So the move, bishop e8, with the idea of capturing on h5, right? Bishop e8. Now, what happens on rook f5? I actually didn't consider this. Oh, he just go rook e3. That's probably why he didn't do it. Because I'm just now seeing rook f5, which I didn't see in our analysis before. And you can't go rook e3. He just takes. So, yeah, how do you even get this? Interesting. It's probably why he chose that. That's what I'm thinking. LJ, what's up, bro? You plan on going to World Open? I plan on stopping in at World Open because I actually have a chess work, some other stuff to do. But plan on stopping in just to say what up, take some pictures, and sign some boards, and hang out with y'all. And then I'll be doing something else. Thanks for the follow, Ben and Jan. Okay, so after h5, a4, right, which was played. Honestly, this was a left field move. We was like, we didn't even see this one. Like, was never even considering that one. a4, so he takes, h4. Right, h4, bishop e3 tracks to Brooklyn. No, he just goes back. In fact, it wasn't able to trap it. It was hard. We tried to, but it wasn't. Bishop e3, rook f5, and then rook a1. And here, man, Fabi finds. I mean, it's hard to beat this man, bro. h3. Are you kidding me? How does this work? How does this work? How? And he plays it. Only move here. Like I'm telling you, Fabi is not losing many games this year at all. Because he's accurate. h3, even in position where he's down a piece. Like, the only move that wins is what Hikaru played. Nothing else wins in this position. Rook a2. How many of y'all would have played rook a2? Bruh. I know. In fact, I know the answer. Majority of you would have not played rook a2 here. Right? Never I would. Exactly. I understand. Now, if you spend your time like Hikaru did, that's how much time did he spend here? 8 minutes. So he spent 8 minutes and played rook a2. But man, I mean, it defends the knight, right? Because the threats, always know, what is your opponent's threat? h2. This is the threat. Because if you take, then rook takes f2, and now black's winning. Yikes. What a turn of events. So, and if knight takes h3, you have rook f1 check, and after rook takes, I mean, who's winning? Right, who's winning now? Wait a second. Who is actually winning this game? Because I'm about to push this pawn, too. You don't want to give that kind of counterplay. So, okay, after here, pawn takes. Well, shoot. I mean, again, who's winning this game? Wait a second. If you move, okay, lights out. Like, come on, bro. Come on. You should just hit the Resi button right now. Like, resign. Right. Hit the resign button like we playing online. Bruh. Resign right now. Like, this is it. Thanks for the follow. It should be. Thanks for the follow. What happened if knight takes? Yo, we gotta look at that one. Knight takes, rook f1. Maybe you just got here. But knight takes, rook f1 takes. Just take. Oh, why is this not working? Rook takes, king take, king h2, and then rook e1. You play e3. And did you see rook a2? No, in fact, actually, we were looking. Oh, let me go back. In a slower game, absolutely, absolutely, I definitely see rook a2 if I'm spending my time. You see a lot of things when you spend your time, and you always have to ask yourself, what is the opponent's threat? So if we ask ourselves that, let's fast forward here, get to the position. I mean, look how long this game is. Like, so many moves, right? Take h4, bishop e3, h3. So you have to say, what happens if I take it? So you have to look at pawn takes, you have to look at knight takes, you have to look at rook a2, you have to look at knight g4, you have to look at knight takes d3. All of these moves are possible, and this is why what makes chess so hard, is because you have to look at these, and not just one or two moves. I mean, depth. Depth. Bro, it's 15, 10, 10, 15 if you can. As far as you can go in the analysis, and as accurate as you can be. Rook a2, a takes g2, and then after h takes g2, I mean, of course, king takes g2 is rook f3. Rook f3 being the problem, so bishop d1. Woo! That boy hitting. That boy's swinging. That boy is swinging. Hikaru out here swinging. Bishop d1. What a game. COE, exactly. Exactly. Calculation over everything. So bishop d1, that boy's swinging. No error, no rook f3. So he plays rook f6 to defend a6. Very nice. Boom. Bishop g4. We get a bishop on a best square. And the best square it's been on all game. Right? All game. Active pieces, exactly. Hikaru ate his Wheaties this morning. He did. He did, bro. Best game of the tournament. This one and the Firouzja game against Nepo. These are my favorite games of the tournament. Hikaru have rook a2 in mind when he played rook a1, anticipating Fabiano playing h3. No, in fact, in the interview, he said he missed the h3 idea. Right, so he actually didn't see it. He just kind of, missed it. But rook a2, this is right after move 42, so they got time to think. Exactly. Oh, yeah, this is right after move 40. Oh, we got fireworks popping. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to fireworks. Yo, fireworks. The 4th of July is coming up, bro. People hype already, bro. You know, they're selling fireworks like everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, they're selling fireworks. Well, I gotta go outside. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm trying to get in that fireworks action. I am a big fan of fireworks. Miss Schmooks 2014, thanks for the follow. This might be one of the best games I've seen in a long time. Let's go. Cool guys, don't look as both as yeah. Oh man, it's fire. Shout out to the people with fireworks. Ruining my YouTube video. Yeah, they out there doing fireworks. Shout out to the fireworks people out there. Definitely love it. Bishop g4, rook to d5. King takes g2. Sounds like popping corn in a microwave. Yeah. King takes g2, rook g6, king g3. Right. So backing up a little bit. Right. After bishop g4, we can walk the king up. And our goal is to just slowly grind this game. In fact, actually, what Hikaru said in the post-game interview when he was on the stream, he was there with commentary, me and Bach, and he was saying that there was many ways, basically, to win this game. And there was, like, many ways to convert. So king takes, rook g6, king g3. And a lot of times in chess, it is many ways to convert. As you see, there's 3 lines. All of these are +5. You can play king f4, +5. King h2, that is weird, but +5. And bishop d4, which is actually what was played. Bishop to d4. You gonna head out to bed? See you in Nakashot tomorrow. Okay, Pammy J, thank you for hanging out. I'll see you tomorrow. I want to see many ways to lose. Yeah, we're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on that, buddy. Bishop to d3. King f4 with the idea I can tuck and roll now on king e3. But rook f6, I can always take it. So, but I can also do king e3. And also bishop f5 is a huge threat with knight g4 and rook h2. Nasty stuff. King g8. Bishop f5 played. Look at the pieces are ideal. Rook h6. Knight g4 play. Hit the rook again. Rook h to d6. And then Hikaru thought a while here. Rook a1 is a move. Knight e3 is a move. But he played knight e3. We also looked at bishop c5 too as well. Watching this again is stressful. Jeez, what a game. Exactly right. Okay. That was suspicious, huh? Say huh? Good night, Pammy J. Good night. Oh, cool. You get a discount for the evening board. I do. So yeah, you can use my code. Cool out. Okay, knight e3. Rook to b5. Right here. In fact, right here, believe it or not, Hikaru was like, yeah, I could have played rook a5 and this and that. Maybe it was here, but I think it was here. No, it was after when the rook was on f6. So that's bishop c5, rook f6 right here. He was saying rook a5 was a move. He could have played this. King e5, king f7. And no, actually it was here. Now I'm sure it was actually here. Rook a5 because Bach was like, yeah, rook f2, which we saw. And rook f2 was a move I would have played too. Rook f2 with the idea of playing bishop e6 check. And just move the king somewhere, and then we go rook h, h2, and try to win that way. But when you have many wins, like you just have to pick one. Knight d5 is actually the hardest one, though. Not even considered by the engine. And like knight d5 dropped a few points there. From +8 to +5, but still winning. Rook takes f5, king takes an e3 check. We got a pass pawn now. Interesting stuff, right? I think there was something interesting with Fabi taking a bishop on d4 with the rook. Oh, yeah, back here. So here's another one, right? Rook takes, this is me and Bach looked at this. Rook takes. We also looked at was it rook takes or c3? I think it was c3 first. c3, bishop takes, and you play well, actually, sorry, no, rook takes d4 loses. Yeah, you would lose that. So you can't do this. c3, I think it's rook somewhere. Where you go? King e5. Let me see what the engine likes. Oh, d5. Yeah, we looked at this. We did look at d5, and you can't play c2 because we just take it. This is just winning. Like, look at this, right? You have to deal with this. I got king e5. You can never go c2. Like, this is over. Yeah, great fight. Great fight. Great fight. So he didn't sack. He saw it. Rook b5. Bishop c5, then king e5. King f7. And rook f2 was a huge move for me with bishop e6 intentions. But he goes knight e5, allows the sacrifice, and allows a little bit more counterplay. King e5, e2 happens. You got to defend it. He goes bishop f2. Makes total sense, right? Rook a1's a move too. But bishop f2. Rook to b8 with the idea of checking. He goes bishop e1, which was nice. It's just tuck and roll. And then here we have a slight inaccuracy. Slight inaccuracy. And I think Hikaru was using a lot of his time, but here we was thinking that he should have used more. Like right here he used... Wait, how much time did he use? It says he has more time here. Oh, yeah. All right. It's move 60. I'm like, how did he go up? Like, how did he go up time? I don't understand. I forgot he gets 15 minutes at move 60. So here he kind of moved quite quickly. He actually spent like 4 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that. I don't know, but he didn't spend a lot of time. He didn't spend a lot of time. After king f4, it was not good. Benjamin's face when he made his move was so funny. Yeah, it wasn't good because he said this too as well. He missed g5, which I mean, it's just a hard move to see, right? So many things. You're calculating so hard, so much focus. I mean, whatever. Like, give the man a break. King f4, g5 check, hard move. If king takes, then rook e5, he's way back in the game. So king to g3, rook e6. And now you have to win the game again. It's still hard. King f2, rook h6. But I think here Hikaru will find a nice, what he said, study-like position with knight e3, knight g2. There's lots of play left in this game, bro. What a game. King to e3, rook e6 check. And I think if king d2, me and Bach looked at rook e3, which is problematic. And if rook a5, you go bishop e4. Let me show that. Here, rook e3, with the intention of if you move the knight, knight, have a good night, right? Like, he's going to play bishop b1 and you're done. So, and that's also a discover check. So after rook a5, there's bishop e4 where rook takes e4 check, which is like crazy. Crazy how dominant the position is that you can make 2 inaccuracies and still be heavily winning. Yeah, his position is great. The position is great. So, refreshing on where we were before. Rook a6. Yeah, oh, sorry. Oops. Okay. So, king f2, rook h6. Knight. Okay. Bishop b1 and you're done. I'm not sure what that is. Is everybody copying Steph now, right? Knight. You know what, bro? Look, I be studying chess. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. I'm gonna just put command culture in here that says I only study chess. That's all I be doing. King e3, rook e6 check, king back to f2. Nice little repeat. He's like, yo, you want to repeat, bro? You want to draw? Not at all. Knight e3. And then we gonna play knight to g2. There's some mate threats and stuff here too as well. Rook f6, king g3, rook f1, knight g2. This was the idea. Now we can take this with check. Thank you, Gonzali. Rook f6 and bishop f2. There was this. They were saying this. Yo, thank you, Zaire. Thank you so much for the tier 1. What up with you, man? To the stream. Appreciate you. Okay, rook h1. There was this. We looked at this here. Right, and if you I mean, like, imagine getting made like this. I probably would. I mean, I probably might knock over a piece or two and then pick it up. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, like, it's probably a reflex. You know what I mean? It would be a reflex to, like, get mated like this and knock over the pieces and be like, oh, snap, I'm at the candidates. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly what was a reflex, right? Winning and then just get mated. Oh, a reflex? Oh, yeah, I'm knocking over the pieces right now. Don't talk to me at all. Like, literally, don't say nothing to me. I'm not taking no interviews. I'm not answering the phone. I am not hurt. Rook f6, bishop f2, king g6. King g6. Rook a5 from Hikaru, right? And then we're going to play knight e1 and tuck and roll and have everything good. Have you ever knocked over pieces in a tournament? I have not. But I definitely wanted to many times. Games where I was winning and I'm sitting here like, don't do it, Canty. Hold it in. Don't flip this board in front of everybody. Don't do it. And then we talk ourselves out of it every time. Every time you got the bad positions like that. So Ricky 6. Yo, what's up, AG? What's AJ? What's up? What's good? AJ. So 91, right? And with the idea of obviously King F3, King G2, but I don't like King G2. I do like King F3. Just staying around the pawn. You can also take and play King E3 if the rook moves. But we're just winning though. We finally got this off. Like this was huge for us. This was huge. Getting this knight here and have everything nice and controlled. Bishop 2 F5, Knight F3 with Knight D4 intentions. Rook D6, cool, bro. Knight D4, I'll take it. Bishop D3, Rook E5, threatening the pawn. King F6, Knight F3. Defending, attacking, and that was it. And Fabi resigns. And Hikaru with the dub. The man, I mean, this was a game, 74 moves. All 3 time controls they went through. All 3 of them. I mean, this was a spectacular game. 100%, I think you should add this to your arsenal or your repertoire if you are a Roy Lopez player. But this was absolutely beautiful. I mean, big shout out to Hikaru for this game, man. This was fire. Yeah, Nakamura on the win, absolutely. And now that puts him, as we check the standings here. You see Big Jan out here with the 6-piece and the biscuit out here looking beefy. Boy, look at that, man. Thanks for the 3 months. Good analysis. Thank you, bro. Thanks for the prime. And then we have a 5-piece from Fabi. 4.5 for Hikaru. That puts him at half a point away. But he was already like this. Like it was already like this. But Hikaru is just keeping it like this. Greetings from Peru. Thank you so much. Welcome. So that's it. You know, that's it here. Of course, we got another one tomorrow. I will be commentating on Hikaru's channel. Look at this, guys. Like, look how it felt like the candidates just got here. But in fact, I mean, it's coming to an end very quickly. It's like the last, I mean, not the last week. You got next week too. But it feels like, you know, it just started, bro. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Right? Yeah, definitely. My Ray Echo. Semester. Huge win for Big Easy. Rest day is on the 28th. It's round 9, though. 27th is tomorrow. 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I will be live on Hikaru's channel. Make sure you guys are there. GM Hikaru on Twitch. If you aren't following, make sure you guys check him out, obviously. So we will be, me and Bach will be over there commentating. When is Nepo versus Caruana? That's a great question. I don't actually have the stats for that of like pairings. That's a great question, though. Do you think Nepo has it in the bag, or anyone else can slip in or sneaky win? I mean, it's hard to say. Nepo definitely a favorite, but it's hard to say. Thanks for the stream, Canty. Thank you, Box Life. But look, hey, thanks for watching too as well. If you're on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. We'll see you on the next video.